No, Barrett, start playing the gym theme music.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and people of all ages, put your hands together for the one, the only, Iron Mac 404 with Corviknights of the Round Table!
Thank you very much for that, Barrett. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you to everyone in the crowd as well. Good to see you, Boom. Good to see you, Corviknight. Like, Ensign, you're looking good at the front row. Don't you dare parting shot into the back rows, whatever you do. Urshifu, are you rapid strike Urshifu or are you single strike Urshifu? Why don't you just tell us in the comments below? Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome, and we're back. It is officially back. We are the season 2 of the London Corviknight podcast, Late Night Corviknight. How are we all doing tonight? I hope you're all doing very well. It is, of course, Tuesday, the 15th of October. It is good to be back. What can I say? We have been gone for far too long, as Barrett, who's now, unfortunately, in the space of last season and today, he has actually become so entranced. He's just become a solid image, and he can talk. Yes. He can talk, but he cannot move. He has evolved beyond the use of a body.
I just can express great gratitude for being here. That is all.
Isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to look as though I'm looking at you right now. And I'm just going to say how proud I am that you've got your own desk this season. I think that's really nice.
I plan to occupy it with things at some point.
Yes, I would also like to confirm that, yes, while we were building this stage, Barrett did accidentally knock part of this wall down, and that's why I'm in this wall. He hasn't apologised yet for that.
I like it. I'm not going to lie.
Barrett used Brick Break, and yes, it nearly became a crit. That is how I'm officially going to put this down. But we are back. It is season 2. We have a lot in store for you for the next few weeks. This season will probably last till the UK regional in January. There are a few weeks in between that we're going to have a few change of scenery. So for instance, just giving you a heads up now, I am not going to be here for next week because, believe it or not, I'm getting legally married next week. So Barrett will have a special episode next week for you, which we will not spoil now. We will spoil it. We'll probably put like a preview post or something online for those on Spotify as well, if you follow us on Twitter, which, by the way, we have Spotify now. If you want to listen to any of the episodes from season 1, why don't you hop over to Spotify? Like, yeah, it's got everything there, from our World's Preview episode to, which Pokemon was the best that got left behind, to Worst Legendary, which honestly was a personal favourite episode of mine. Thought that episode was hilarious. Yes, all our episodes free of charge on Spotify. Go check it out. Give us a 5-star if you want to, or free. Preferably not 1.
Yes. 3 or higher would be good.
3 or higher would be so nice.
If you're thinking of giving a 2, let me know first, and I'll see if I can change my mind.
Yes. If it's 2, I want to know why.
Exactly. Yeah.
If it's 1, you're blocked. But of course, we've got a few things to go through tonight. So tonight, we have basically what we're calling our catch-up episode. Basically, what happened at Worlds a couple of months ago. Yes, I know it's a couple of months ago. Like, things have been difficult. Thank you. Also, we're going to actually just quickly talk about Regulation H and what has actually been happening so far for Regulation H. We've also got regionals recap as well, as we're going to go through some of the regionals that you might have missed over the past few weeks. Not necessarily talking about results, but talking about just, we feel as though you already know the results, right? You've already got onto Victory Road or Twitter, and you've already seen the paste of the team with all its EVs and IVs, and the guy being like, I'm so proud that I got top 64. Barrett has also put together a Regulation H GC in a nutshell video, which we'll put out later on as well. But first of all, Barrett, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I mean, particularly fantastic now that we've got the 6 months in advance Tier 1 sub from Dread Mumbo. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, jeez, Dread, thank you so much.
A legend.
But yes, I hope people like the scenery. I hope people like the change of, of scene here. I know I'm repeating myself quite a bit. I must admit, I'm a little bit out of practice. It's been 2 months. Let me be.
We're doing good.
We're doing good. Right. So I think we should kick off appropriately what has happened since we've been gone. In the past 2 months, me and Barrett has been hibernating, waiting until the time was right to strike a kowtow cleave. That's right, we're King Gambits.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, no, if we're Corviknight, we're bulking up and then brave birding or body pressing.
We are body pressing.
We're just body. I mean, I would body press. Like,
I wouldn't describe myself as a brave bird, but definitely a bird.
I mean, it's like one of those tarot readings, isn't it? You just flip the card over. It's, oh yes, you're a body press kind of guy. Like, I'm really feeling the vibes of body press with you, and then just turning over another card is like, oh, but unfortunately it's a ghost type, so.
It was immune.
Sorry.
But you have mind's eye. Interesting.
Yeah, believe it or not, somebody used skill swap. Can you believe it? So yes, what has actually happened in the last couple of months? Well, of course, we do need to talk about the World Championships, which of course was held in Hawaii. If you didn't realise that, then where have you been? Me and Barrett, of course, were wonderfully joined by KD and Captain Oro in our season finale last season. I think, we did it the week before Worlds. So we had a very lengthy conversation. If you missed all of it, please do go watch the episode. It's a banger. You will enjoy it. There's also a COVID joke in there. If people still enjoy that in 2024, that's up your alley. Like, go for it. So let's quickly talk about actually what happened at the World Championships as I try and summarize Worlds for you in the next few minutes or so. So, Pokemon World Championship Roundup. What did you miss? Of course, it was in Hawaii, which is a small island off the US. Why Hawaii? Because why not? It's lovely that time of year. Why would you not try and go to Hawaii? It's an excuse to go on holiday for most of these players. More importantly, how did we do in the prediction side? Let's start off with that, shall we? So, we didn't actually do that bad. Like, we didn't actually do terribly. I think there was a couple of surprises on our shells. I think we need to talk first of all about like who actually got the restricted right, because all of us actually guessed various things. Calyrex Ice was mentioned. Barrett, of course, put us to sleep. We're talking about Calyrex Shadow Rider. Oh my god, I'm feeling tired already. I'm feeling tired just saying that. KD predicted Miraidon, and I think Captain Oro predicted Kyogre. Somebody mentioned Kyogre, didn't they?
I don't know.
No, Zamazenta. It was Zamazenta, sorry. Oh, and Terrapagos as well. So there was quite a few, different restricted Pokemon actually going into this World Championships with their eye on the prize. And it was all to play for, to be honest with you, because if I'm honest, no one really had a clear strategy or a clear team that was going to be the favorite to win. It was literally all up for grabs, which, to be honest, I feel like that's the first time we've had that in quite a few years. So, hats off to this format for actually putting a bit of a spin on it, if you will. Say spin on it. They do that every time, every game. Where's my producer? But anyway, so which restricted did actually win it? Of course, it was the Violet exclusive Miraidon. But I don't think we should really be surprised, should we? Miraidon with its electric terrain boosted Hadron engine with its Electro Drift, Choice Specs, Terror Electric. Are you still alive, as I said those words? Like, if you are, then you are definitely a ground type.
Or an Amoongus.
Or an Amoongus. Like, oh no, if it's Amoongus, you're literally like beaten up so badly you're adding here no bail. Amoongus is the meme of the South Park guy. But yeah, Miraidon did win it, which actually KD did predict. So KD definitely got that one right. However, we were also a little bit surprised because we all thought Raging Bolt was going to be a clear-cut favourite to become a world champion. It did not. Why? Because Iron Hands came back, which absolutely gave everyone a bit of a shock, including myself, because I didn't think Iron Hands... Like, we all know Iron Hands is a brilliant Pokemon. Like, we've seen it win the World Championship last year, but since that time, Iron Hands has been very much like, I'm here, but there's a buffet next door. I'm not sure if I want to compete, Like, but at the World Championships, someone obviously, said something in his ear, right? Somebody sat him down and said, look, there's a prehistoric cat giraffe who wants your crown. Are you going to allow it to happen?
And then he said, go for the shins.
Yeah. But it's true, isn't it? Because Iron Hands was using low kick, so obviously Iron Hands was going for the shins. He didn't know that. He didn't need those big hands. He just needed his freaking kicks. But Iron Hands did kind of upset everyone. Like, because I certainly didn't think Iron Hands was going to do it, and I think not many people did. If you were one of the people who did think Iron Hands was going to win Worlds, then you're either A, a genius, B, a liar, or C, you really like Iron Hands. So, you know, you're one of those three. Like, take your pick. I think you should go for option C, personally, to make yourself look better. But, you know, that's only 2 of the 6 Pokemon that actually won Worlds. So who else actually won Worlds? So, Ogerpon Heartflame, it becomes the very first. Well, obviously Ogerpon is now a world champion, but specifically Heartflame Ogerpon is a world champion. The records have stated that they are counting it as if it's the form rather than the Pokemon itself. So also Urshifu Rapid Strike retained his title as well, which, by the way, what a brilliant tag team now we've got. We have Urshifu Rapid Strike and Iron Hands back-to-back world champions, okay? The ultimate wrestling tag team. Ornstein and Snow from Dark Souls, anyone? Like, if someone could just Photoshop that in there for me, that would be brilliant. I think I'm actually going to have to rename my Urshifu and Iron Hands to Ornstein and Smoke now. Just pointing it out. Can anyone, producer, can you put a note for that for me? Thank you.
Yeah, done.
Thank you. Yeah. Who else is a world champion then? Well, Farigiraf is now a world champion, which, again, we're not exactly surprised because Farigiraf has actually been really strong. It's actually kind of surprising to me, though, that it is a world champion now, because I think a lot of people were expecting it to become a world champion last year, which, fair enough, but it was always going to happen. I think, honestly, if this generation went by and we were in Generation 10 and we were doing the whole community question of which Pokemon should have won a world champion, I would have picked Farigiraf. Thankfully, I don't have to pick you now, Farigiraf. You've saved me. You've saved my bacon. You lovely giraffe, you. Go and trollop in the field somewhere and use your armor tail for something irrelevant. I don't know.
That Cud, I don't know.
Cud Q or whatever, what the other ability it has. I don't know. Anyway.
Get in the Cud queue.
Yeah. Of course, the other Pokemon as well was Whimsicott. Whimsicott, actually, believe it or not, for anyone who's not aware, Whimsicott has actually become a world champion for the very first time since 2017. So it hasn't been a champion for 7 years, Barrett.
Ooh.
7 years without an actual world championship. I mean, obviously, there's some Pokemon that's had droughts longer than that. I'm looking at you, Toxicroak. I'm looking at you, Empoleon.
I'm looking at you, Groudon.
Groudon. Lunala, you will shush. But, you know, Whimsicott becoming a world champion again after so long was actually quite a heartfelt thing, I think, anyway. Like, good for it. Well done. Congratulations. Thumbs up. All the other good stuff. However, there is actually some other stats that I quickly want to go through before we actually go on to actually what was announced at Worlds. One of the weird things that we've noticed when we were doing our research for this segment, the US, who keep getting all these championships, locations and whatnot, they have not won it. They have not won the Masters Division since 2016. And guess who won that year? That's right. YouTube sensation himself, Wolf Glick. He is the last ever US World Masters champion, and that to me feels a bit strange. I don't might be just be me, might just be everyone else. I personally think it's a little weird, considering, like, spoilers, the next 2 world locations are in America. In Anaheim in 2025. I was about to say 2015. What did I say? In 2025, we're going to go back in time. X and Y, no.
No, not again.
Not again. Mega Kangaskhan, no. In 2025, of course, Worlds is being held in Anaheim, and in Worlds 2026, which, to be fair, this was leaked months before the announcement because the venue accidentally leaked it. It's, of course, San Francisco. Both, of course, in California. So anyone who wants to pop over to the Disney, I might go. Like, if I end up going to, I mean, obviously not as a competitor, have you seen me? But, like, if I go to, you know, Anaheim for Worlds, I would love to meet all of you and then go to actual Disney and go to the Droid Depot, build myself a little R2-D2 unit, bring it back to Pokemon Worlds. Yeah? In the crowd, just they're celebrating whoever's world champion. Someone in the back with an R2-D2 droid.
A few
Look
people
at my
have
child.
R2-D2 droids, hopefully.
But yes, obviously, have you found anything weird like at Worlds that we haven't covered? Please do let us know. Actually, just to give you a bit of a heads up, just going back to that fact about Wolf Glick being the last world champion representing North America, let me just give you like the rundown of how many world champions are not American since 2016. Japan have won it 3 times. But they've never won it back to back. It's always been Japan, then another person, Japan, another person, Japan. Okay? Little weird. EU have won it twice, and Latin America have won it once. 4 were its, as everyone should remember. But I know what you're thinking. Who did well out of the UK? Well, let me tell you. So, Taron Birdie was the highest placed UK competitor. Oh god, we've just got taken over by the Yanks.
No!
He finished 24th, but I actually want to give a special well done to Max Waterman, who you might know as Simipore on the Discord, on the London Corviknight Discord. He finished 55th. An incredible achievement. Absolutely amazing stuff. Congratulations, Max. I hope you're doing well. If you are listening at any point, we are absolutely over the moon with for you.
And yeah,
and
we're very
with
proud.
and for. Let's do that. So yes, we absolutely are thrilled for Max. Like, he absolutely does deserve it, because he has been churning results and has been working very, very hard to get those to get into the position he was at. And we both know, and including all of the London Corviknight Discord know, it's only going to go up from here for him. He's an amazing competitor, and like, bless him, he's a sweetheart when we see him in person, because he's always like, should we get a photo together? Should we all get a photo together? And he'll always be like, okay, let's get. And I'll turn my back, and he's already nicked like 4 people. He's already like, right, photo. He's brilliant. Like, absolutely brilliant. Just to clarify as well, the actual final itself of Worlds was between Yuta of Japan versus Luca of Italy, which I already told you, of course, Moraidon did win. However, the finalist was a Pelipper Calyrex Ice team. So, Barrett, we were so close to a Pelipper World Champion.
We were so close.
So close.
And to Trick Room.
But not room service.
Not room service.
Not room service.
Not the same.
I'm still expecting Pelipper to walk across the... No, wait. No, he hasn't yet. Okay, fine.
He's not got it. I think he's slacking.
No, slacking's not very good this gen.
Well, I don't know. We'll get to that.
But yeah, so obviously if we have missed anything, please do let us know. What was the things that were announced, though, at Worlds? I hear you cry. Well, spoilers, not much. Like, I'm just going to say that right now. I know a lot of people were predicting a Legend ZA announcement, but Pokemon said no, you're not going to get a Pokemon Legend ZA. However, Dynamax is back in Pokemon Go.
Oh.
Also, they also did do an event where you could hunt the Galarian shiny birds, you know, Galarian, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, as well as shiny Zacian and Zamazenta. I did try and catch some, because I realized, like, oh, this is just an easy way for, because I had so many points built up to collect raid passes anyway. I ended up doing a few Zacian and Zamazentas. I didn't care if it was shiny or not. I just needed a few spare, because I'm not replaying through Sword and Shield just to get a dog. Like,
That is a really good way of getting them.
yeah, like, Pokemon Go is an actual really good way to get legendaries that if you don't want to play through the game again. I'm sorry, it's true. Like, it's like I'm not replaying the whole game again and then the DLC just to get myself a Terrapagos or a Blood Moon Ursaluna. No. Like, no. Like, will I gen it? Absolutely not. But am I going to sit there and play through the entire Scarlet and Violet again just for a turtle? No. No. I'm sorry, Terrapagos, but no. Like, you are adorable. Stop looking at me like that.
This is what you get for not winning the World Championship.
Yeah, that's what you get for not winning. I don't even think you finished in the top 8.
No, yeah, it was quite surprising.
When did you even finish? Like,
No one cared anymore.
no one cared. So, of course, yeah, that was. So, obviously, there was no VGC news. Pokemon Go had Dynamax. I hear you cry. What happened to the other games? I know you're a massive fan of Pokemon Unite. Don't look at me like that. I know you. Okay, what did Pokemon Unite have? They had more Pokemon coming to the game. Shocker, I know. What Pokemon were announced? I hear you cry. Well, I hear you cry. Darkrai. Darkrai, of course, was announced as one of them. Armarouge was another one, which is already out. I have played a little bit of Armarouge. It is a little bit broken, if I'm honest with you. Fire Spin just seems to, like, kill everything in sight. It's kind of mad. But also, the final Pokemon is Psyduck. The most deadliest of all. Psyduck is actually a support mon. It's a support type Pokemon in the game. Was met with absolute rave reviews. Everyone online is saying Psyduck is going to be the best thing in Unite. It does what I can confirm. Psyduck does waddle. It's not a serious Psyduck. It is very much Misty Psyduck from the Pokemon anime, which is fantastic news, honestly, because that is what Psyduck is. Psyduck is not, ultra serious bad boy.
No.
I mean, a bad boy Psyduck just sounds hilarious, if I'm honest. They did also announce a TCG app. That's right, a TCG app. And I've just put down here, for those who don't like having the physical versions of cards, I guess. Because I'm still struggling to understand what your core audience is for that, if I'm honest with you. Because, I mean, they've got exclusive design of cards, but, like, they're not physical. Yeah, I can't have him in my hand. Why do I care?
I've got a feeling that they'll all be NFTs one day.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, no. Right, wrap it up.
That's it, we're done.
That's it, we're done. But all in hindsight, of course, it actually was another really successful Worlds weekend for the Pokemon Company. Viewing figures reached, I think his name is Chris Brown. On Twitter, he works for the Pokemon Company. He was saying record attendance at Honolulu, as well as record figures for viewers all across all platforms. On all the actual streams, because of course it's not just one channel, you have separate channels, which, by the way, if you are interested in other stuff other than the VGC, like Pokemon do have the channels for that. You can separate it by VGC, TCG, Unite, and Go. It's Twitch, I think, is literally Go, TCG, and VGC. For Unite, you will have to go onto YouTube and find their YouTube channel of that. Yeah, another successful year. Well done, Luca, for winning the World Championships. Italy have won it for a second time in the Pokemon World Championships history. I mean, I think he was going to win it eventually. He was absolutely over the moon with his victory, so much so that he tried to crowd surf immediately. And oh, good God, I thought they were going to drop him. I really thought they were going to drop him.
He's only a little lad as well.
He's a little scrawny lad, but they were not ready for the jump. Like, he's won it. Why is he running towards me?
They're like, no, the strongest thing we've lifted is a switch.
No, my dumbbells are actually the switch
One guy's got
holders.
I've got a light.
Got a light, mate. But yes, that is your World Championship review in a nutshell. Right, let me just take a quick sip of my drink because I am absolutely dying for one.
That was good. You deserve a break after that. How about, speaking of nutshells, we maybe check out a little GC action from some of the stuff that we found over on Twitter. As everyone knows, we had a GC recently, and that resulted in some hijinks, to say the least.
You know about it. I think you've got a good point. I think we should do that. However, I have been an idiot and I put it in the wrong tab. I am so sorry. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Google Drive has given me a flashing warning of Drive is full.
It's because we've got so much fantastic content in there.
Oh, it's like, I get it. I get it. But yes, let's show you the VGC nutshell video.
I have to just get a projector screen that comes down in front of the hole, and I'll just pull it down the next time we show a video.
Oh, yes, we do need like some of that, just for clarification. Of course, the GC was recent. Absolute chaos, as expected, for every GC. Barrett actually very kindly put together a quick video to showcase some of the absolute baffling things that he found throughout this Regulation H GC. So please do enjoy.
No! Don't be weak, Armor! Oh, no. Get that tech out of here!
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Who honestly saw that coming there?
So there we have it, people. The GC in a nutshell.
Hey there, it's Alex here, aka Iron Mac, and welcome to the London Corviknight podcast, the show where we take BGC and put our unique British spin on it. This podcast is recorded live over on our Twitch channel. If you want the schedule on when we go live, you can find us on Discord and X. Hope you enjoy the show. Oh dear. Right, so I guess we should actually talk about the Regulation H format, right? For anyone who actually isn't aware, who doesn't know so far, Regulation H, okay, hear me out. Regulation H is actually all right. It's a decent format. I don't think...
really good.
Right, it's not a... Oh, wait, no, you're over here, aren't you? It's not a bad format, is it? Like, let's be honest, Barrett, who hasn't moved since the start of this video.
I actually genuinely think that, well, for one thing, I've been saying to people for years that random double battles are really fun. And if you don't know whether or not you'll like random double battles, but you do like Reg H, then I'm here to tell you that you will like random double battles because it is the exact same format. The only difference is that you sometimes get a legendary Pokemon in random double battles, but they're not that good. It's all about the regular Pokemon. So I've been loving it.
It's been great. I think what I need to clarify is we'll probably do a proper tier list of Regulation H in a couple of weeks' time when I'm back from legally getting married in the eyes of, well, the government.
Oh, the only ones that matter.
I mean, I didn't realise Jesus put taxes on marriages, but hey,
It was an important part of the teaching.
it's all part of the old trick. But what I think we should just quickly talk about is probably like what actually is Regulation H, what is actually kind of the prominent threats of Regulation H, and then in a couple of weeks we can probably show you a tier list. Obviously, you know, Victory Road has all the latest results from all the regionals that have been happening lately. Dortmund, Louisville, as well as there was another one off the top of my head. Which one is it, Barrett?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, thank you very much. Good morning, Baltimore.
There was also Jonesville that happened. I'm not quite sure about what the deal with that was, but Jonesville or something?
I think it was just it wasn't streamed.
Yeah, oh no, yes, there was a couple that wasn't streamed. Oh, there was the Lima special from Peru.
Oh, yeah.
As well, which I understand was streamed.
Oh, really?
I think it was. I will have to double check this and we can always go for it in a couple of weeks' time. But what is Regulation H? Well, believe it or not, it's actually very simple format. It's basically all the Pokemon that you can catch in Scarlet and Violet except Paradox Pokemon or the legendaries. Unfortunately, Fluttermane, who you could probably see behind me, cannot be used. Fluttermane, I am sorry. The Fluttermane is angry. Low-kicking Iron Hands is not around. Raging Bolt as well can't get its knees shattered by said Iron Hands. All legendaries have been banned as well. It's kind of a bit of a free reign. Now, I know when we say free reign, it does mean, in hindsight, anything goes, right? Well, it's yes and no. Like, you know, you've still got your very popular, very useful mons like the lads, Rillaboom, and Urshifu. Well, not Urshifu, sorry. Urshifu's banned. Incineroar. Palafin is the boy, but we haven't actually seen much of Palafin, if I'm honest with you, this generation, this format so far, probably because Rillaboom is also around and is still very popular. Corviknight still gets a fair bit of usage, you'll be happy to hear. There is still a fair few Pokemon that has actually risen to prominence, and I know that sounds a little bit weird saying that, because like usually in these sort of formats, when we're 2 years into a game, we don't usually see Pokemon that hasn't really got that usage getting that usage, by which I mean Sneasler, you know, the Hisuian Pokemon, which by the way the Pokemon TCG company still feels as though it needs to put Hisuian at the front of every card that features Sneasler. It's quite funny. I brought a Radiant Sneasler, which in TCG terms is a shiny Sneasler card. However, on the front of it, it said Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, to which I genuinely looked at the card and thought, thank God you've told me, otherwise I would have no idea where it came from.
Do you think they try to subtly hint that there might be other Sneasler out there? And in which case, how do we avoid them?
How do we avoid them? Exactly. Well, I mean, why is Sneasler actually getting so popular? I think the answer is pretty clear. It's claws, by which I mean Dire Claw. By which I mean I could be poisoned, paralyzed, or asleep right now. I can't tell you which right now because I'm still waiting for Diaclaw to hit me. That is pretty much the RNG side of it. Like, you know, we've seen many, I mean, if you go to any VG stream over the last few regionals, you will easily see a Sneasler hitting Diaclaw, a status effect kicking in, and watching the player go, oh my lord, my life has just ended. What was the point in turning up? My day has been ruined, and my disappointment cannot be measured. That is Sneasler. Sneasler is the ultimate you mad bro.
I find it funny that this is the first time ever that I've been afflicted with poison touch and gone, yes!
Yeah, yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
Finally.
Isn't it weird? But also, yes, Sneasler is actually really fast as well. With its ability Unburden, if you consume your item, doesn't really matter what item it is, your speed is then doubled. So you become easily the fastest thing in the meta, because really the fastest thing in the meta right now is Dragapult, which is ironically Sneaser's best friend so far, from what we've seen in the format. Sneaser's like, no, you don't need to yeet your children. Let me use my claws instead, Dragapult. Let me ease your mind and use my claw. And Dragapult's like, yeah, that's all right. I'll use Phantom Force and with my choice band or choice specs. Choice something.
The choice spec set is... That's some old school stuff.
Isn't it? That's really... That's Sword and Shield old school stuff. Like, I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, so Sneasler is pretty much up there at the moment. But... you can't count it out, because there is still some other Pokemon that would like to say their #1 usage at the moment, by which I mean Goldengo. And no, Goldengo did not pay me to actually make it #1, despite the fact it's literally made of money. I feel like I've been screwed for that. Did I get screwed? Goldengo, of course, is up in the usage charts as well. Why? Make it rain, obviously. Like, what else are you going to be doing with that? To give you a brief idea, I'm just going to give you, like, I've looked on Peakalytics this morning, and I'm just going to give you the top 6 Pokemon. Well, actually, no, I'll give you a quick top 10 Pokemon of usage, okay? King Gambit is #1 at the moment, with 40%. King Gambit is #1. I don't think we should be surprised with King Gambit. He's a king. He is an absolute menace when he wants to be. But, you know, we're all up for swords dancing, sucker punching something, because, you know...
Now that Psychic Terrain's not as bad anymore.
Exactly. Psychic Terrain isn't as prominent, which is why Sneasler actually sometimes just turns on with Focus Sash and Fake Out. I mean, some Sneasers are running Throat Chop. Imagine having those claws digged into your throat. You're getting more than a Throat Chop, my friend. You're having surgery very, very quickly.
By the way, side note, Throat Chop should prevent berries. I just think that'd be funny.
Do you know what? I kind of agree.
Imagine just that.
Because you can't, yeah, because if your throat is actually,
berry.
if your throat is ruined, how can you eat the berry?
Guy goes right in the throat just as you're about to swallow.
Unless it's tagged, unless whatever partner it's got on the field immediately turns those berries into a nice juice.
Oh, yeah, if Shuckle's on the field.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got my juice right here, right? So let's just demonstrate that right now. So I've just been throat chopped, okay? I want you to imagine me getting throat chopped. No. Don't do that. I know what you're thinking. Don't put yay in the chat. Don't write in the comment, thank Christ.
I'll just erase that.
Okay, so here I am. My throat chop. Oh. I've got my health back. And that's the end of that. Very simple segment. I know you loved it. Goldengo is, of course, #2, 37% compared to King Gambit's 40%. Then it's Rillaboom as the highest grass type. Incineroar, of course, Incineroar being Incineroar. Why are we shocked? However, another Pokemon I want you to keep an eye on, and I want you to kind of like think of this on the outside. Primarina. Primarina is the highest water type usage right now. Why? I think there's a lot of reasons why. Let's go through them quite quickly. Other than being the absolute goddess of the sea, okay, obviously, like, loving to make those water bubbles and putting people in them, which actually in hindsight is quite sadistic. Just pointing that out. Its ability turns every normal move into a water-based move. So obviously Hyper Voice, turns it into a water-based move and also gets a boost. So instead of what Hyper Voice is, I want to say it's 80, 85, 90, one of those. It's one of those numbers. It gets a boost and goes to well over 100. Also, Primarina does have access to Haze, which makes Dondozo feel stupid. Well, it makes Tatsugiri wants to press legal charges against Primarina for not allowing it to have boosts. But also, of course, being part fairy really helps as well with the Moonblasts and yada yada. So yeah, be on the lookout for more Primarina. Like, I think Primarina's doing well at the moment, but I think we're definitely going to see more of it. Of course, Amoonguss is up there as well in your top 10 usage at the moment, which to no one's surprise. It's Amoonguss. It's always going to be there. To round up the top 10, we've got 3 dragon types, okay? All of them are doing pretty well at the moment, I should point out, okay? Right, so Dragonite. Okay, shouldn't really be surprised to see Dragonite, am I right? Like, you know, am I right? Dragonite. Dragonite being, of course, Terra Flying, going with the Terra Blast to absolutely wreck people's days. But, of course, be aware of extreme speed. Assault Vest Dragonite seems to be really popular at the moment, which, to be fair, I'm not really surprised. And to be fair, you can have either ability of Inner Focus or Multi-Scale. Both of them really prove their worth in this format. So I guess it depends on what team you're putting Dragonite on and how is it going to function for you. Next up is Garchomp. Garchomp did come back with a vengeance. I kid you not. Literally saw the Legends format and thought, do you know what? I am so angry that everyone keeps ignoring me and going for that stupid bear. Like, he's even missing an eye. Well, I'm not missing missing anything. He's missing an eye.
Yeah.
So Garchomp came back, just wrapped a scarf around its neck and said, sod it, earthquake. So Garchomp, yeah, Garchomp is always going to be up there, isn't it? Pretty good, pretty dominant. Garchomp is one of those Pokemon, though, that I feel as though should be probably had a bit more success than it has.
Yeah, it's quite strange. I will say, though, the champion of, as a Garchomp and Corviknight user, Alberto Lares,
Yes.
hit us up, please. I want
Yes.
you on the podcast to talk about Corviknight, because you are probably the best Corviknight player in the world.
Exactly.
And he also reps Garchomp, and after he did that, I ran his team, and I think it's pretty banging.
It is, honestly, it's fantastic. And then finally rounding up the top 10, I don't think this is actually a surprise to anyone. I don't think it's a surprise. It's our Chaladon. London Bridge itself.
Yeah.
Or the Golden State Bridge, whatever bridge you want to pick, it's a bridge.
Either way, we're burning it down.
Exactly. I mean, but that's still dragon typing. Nothing's burning it at the moment. I mean, yes, it's weak to ground, but it's also got stamina, and it's really, really good. It's not going to go down in one hit. I don't think I've ever seen an Archaladon go down in one hit, ever.
No.
It's ridiculously good. Also, with the Electro Shot, you can power herb it. You get a free +1 in rain as well. Very good on rain teams. But Archaladon's actually still very good on its own. I want to stress that out. They are all very good on their own, okay? There is nothing to say these top 10 Pokemon, you should put them on a team. Incineroar, Rillaboom, and Primarina, you've got your Fire, Water, Grass core. Sure, that's a pretty neat start to put a team together. But there's also Porygon 2, who's a good duck. And I like ducks.
Yeah.
Do you see
He's
what
a bird,
I'm going at with here?
you know.
There's lads and then there's ducks.
That's what we're all about here, apparently.
Just saying, people. But also the most interesting fact about this this format as well, the thing that interests me the most, and you can have a look at it up yourself, Electabuzz and Magmar. Now, I already am hearing what you're saying. You're saying, why are you using Electabuzz or Magmar? Why don't you use Magmortar or Electivire? And the actual answer is pretty simple. This generation, Electabuzz and Magmar got given back a move that it hasn't had in numerous gens. I want to say the last time it was given this, it might be like Gen 4, Gen 5.
Yeah, I think it was Gen 5.
Gen 5, right? Follow me. And we all know Follow Me is a ridiculously good move to have in a VGC format. So having a Follow Me user is brilliant. Having a Follow Me user that has either Flame Body or Static is even better. Electabuzz with Eviolite, for instance. For people who aren't aware of what Eviolite does, boosts your defenses by 50%. So Electabuzz and Magmar become actually quite tanky with those boosts. Now, Porygon 2, of course, is the best user of the Eviolite, in my honest opinion. But Magmar and Electabuzz are just like, oh, I see that, let's hold that for a second, and immediately held it and buffed up like crazy. So much so that Arnold Schwarzenegger came around and said, man, you look good.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he was like, oh man, you look good. That looks very nice. Electabuzz just went, follow me, and Arnold's like, yes, I will. So that was a terrible impression.
That flaming body he's got there.
I cannot believe you crit me. I'll be back for round 5 of Swiss. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Enough Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions. But yes, so we'll talk more in depth about Regulation H probably in a couple of weeks' time. But that is pretty much an introduction to what Regulation H is looking like. Of course, you've still got your Trick Rooms, you've still got Katsugiri Dondozo, and you've still, that's just a team in itself, okay? If you're bored and you can't think of a team, it's just like, let's get the fish inside the big fish and make him control him for a little bit. That's literally all it is at this point. Yeah, I think that is pretty much your introduction to Regulation H so far. Which actually leads us quite nicely to the fact that we're going to give you a bit of a regional recap now. What have you missed in terms of the funny stuff? I know some people are just wanting the memes, and while that's great and all, I can't guarantee you results and things like that, which is why we give you memes, because we think memes are nice and you like memes, and memes are a fantastic way to ease the day, right? So let me quickly do this transition properly this time. Show you some stuff that me and Barrett have found over the past few weeks that actually just made us laugh. For instance, Louisville TCG Cup. Someone in the TCG section turned up and used an Applebee's menu as a placemat. To be fair, some of the things on that menu actually looks all right. Like some of those pasta dishes, for instance. Like, yes, please, I'll have some of that. Give me a bit of chicken. Like, I don't know about you, Barrett, but like, surely this is a disadvantage actually, because if you're looking at that placemat while you're looking at your cards, surely your hunger levels are just gonna.
I couldn't help but notice that he does have the menu facing him. I wondered if he started with it facing his opponent, but the judge come over and was like, "No, man,
Stop showing him the food.
That's not fair, bro. You can't do that.
You are being penalised for aggravating your opponent via hunger. I would love to see some VGC aspect of this. I'm not being funny, but we are going to get to a point where the VGC streams are going to cut out for like sponsors. A moment of the game is sponsored by Verizon.
Oh, that critical hit was brought to you by Applebee's. Hit that hunger right for weakness. 4 times super effective.
Oh my god, can you imagine if you get all the VGC casters eating a Pizza Hut together? You know, just have them all eating pizza.
Aaron Sag's opening the box as he's like,
Yeah,
Whoa.
and to be honest, he shouldn't have switched.
Yeah, he should have switched. My EV spread is nothing compared to this meat feast pizza.
and he's coming up with the population bomb. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 toppings.
Yes, amazing. Oh dear. Right, let's move on to the next part. Of course, yeah. One of the funniest things that happened on in Louisville, in my opinion, was the fact that we had Klefki versus Jan Mega. I completely missed this, so when I saw this, I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" I was wondering which decade we were in. It's nice to see we got a bit of a throwback. I actually got a Klefki plush recently, which I'm pretty proud about. Not gonna lie. But honestly, Klefki as a plush, it's hilarious in its own right.
I did notice that because I watched the match live. Spoilers, obviously this is a fantastic match. Wolfglick versus Pengy is just like a great showdown, and Pengy come out victorious, and he held his plush up to the sky and towards the crowd at the time. He was holding the Klefki, and he tweeted out, "My Klefki's name is Rose the Chosen One because she's the key to my heart." And I thought that was beautiful because Rose was casting as well. So that was I thought that was very sweet.
That is quite sweet, actually.
And immediately after winning, just like standing up, hand in the air, I thought that was great.
Another funny thing that we saw was just this from Showdown. Sneezer used Diaclaw, the opposite of Amoongus, loses 32% of health. Amoongus is effectable, Sneezer falls asleep. This is the definition of an Uno reverse card, ladies and gentlemen. Amoongus' effect spore actually doing the job that Sneezer's Diaclaw wanted to do. That honestly made me laugh so much.
That's the moment when the person who's playing that match goes, "Oh, I forgot to change the ability." Oh, wait.
Did I though?
No, did I?
So this was super sweet. Of course, I want you to pay attention to this Birdkeeper trainer card. Quite nice, you know, Starly looking in the cage with the Birdkeeper. But also in Baltimore, some guy actually dressed up as Birdkeeper with a Starly in a cage. Like, apparently he was doing this expression the entire time. He was fully committed to the role. Amazing stuff. I thought it was brilliant to watch. Full kudos to people who actually turn up at regionals, actually dressed up cosplay, right? But for me, it has to be a cosplay that makes sense. When I competed at Liverpool back in January, there was 3 people dressed up as maids.
But they were cleaning up the competition.
Obviously cleaning up the competition, but I didn't think that at first. I was like, there's no maid characters in Pokemon. You guys suck.
These guys aren't cosplayers, they're just having a joke.
Oh, this guy stinks.
Not like this artist.
Oh, this was super cute. Okay, right. So at Baltimore, I believe it was just 2 players who knew they weren't actually going to get much out of the competition anymore. They were both pretty much eliminated from the competition, but there wasn't any prizes on the line. It was literally just for the hell of it. This person just started scribbling. She thought that they were taking notes, but actually she was just drawing her Lilligan and my Ursaluna. So yeah, I think this is super cute, honestly. The opponent actually did like more of a cleaner drawing of it and coloured it in and gave it to the girl, which honestly, I think this is super cute. To see Lilligan encouraging Ursaluna to go wreck some people's lives.
They were like, "We're going to be the best sunroom team ever.
It's going to be so much fun.
I'm going to after you and you're going to facade."
Where's your flame ball?
Yeah.
Why'd you drop it? For a clarification on like what we've talked about Regulation H, this was the top 12 Pokemon from day 1 and day 2 of Baltimore. So if anyone who's listening to this on our podcast, let me just quickly give you a rough, I won't say all the Pokemon, but I'll give you like the top 6. Day 1 was Incin, Rillaboom, Goldengo, Amoongus, Primarina, and King Gambit. But day 2 saw Rillaboom at number 1, King Gambit number 2, Sneasler, Primarina, Incin, and Goldengo. You know, I think obviously it's a very interesting way of showing that actually everything you look on day 1 isn't exactly the same as it's going to be on day 2. Because I've seen way too many people online think, oh, well, day 1 obviously means that these are the best Pokemon to build a team around. It's like, well, not necessarily. Like, because, for example, in day 1, Dragapult wasn't even in the top 12. Day 2, Dragapult's there in the top 12, situated at number 7. No, 8. Yeah. Number 8. Apologies.
And you've got the old big fish jumping in there in the top 12 in day 2.
Basculesian, yep. Like the big fish.
Yeah, the big fish.
Down at the market. Fish. Down at the market, I went.
Down to the market. Go and get to big fish. He's already dead.
Fish and also shout out, of course, to Charlie Merriman once again stealing the show. He decided to bond with his Pokemon a bit more literally by actually putting on some mouse ears to encourage his mousehold to, you know, be more friendly towards him, which I actually encourage. Like, you know, the other day I was asking Corviknight to teach me body press so I can on my wedding just flat out just body press a table after a few drinks.
Couple of bulk ups.
Couple of bulk ups, mate. And yeah, Corviknight's there just like, what you need to do is bulk up twice.
Right. Or if you can't do it, get someone to do it for you.
Yeah. Or some I mean, I could give you some coaching.
Yeah. You bulk up, I'll coach. And you go for the +2.
Finally, as well, 45 Mice posted on Twitter a random showdown battle that he was having, and his opponent just went, this was best of 3, by the way. Man, I would love to play game 2, but about to have sex. Peace. And then he just left.
Which, you know, did raise some questions. How was he doing that on Showdown?
How lucky must their partner feel? Oh yeah, I'll now come to bed with you after I've played some Showdown.
He's throwing game 2 for it.
Throwing game 2 for it. So she obviously they have to feel special.
Yes, yeah, I hope they do.
Like they have to feel special.
They've got to. Come on.
But yes, that is actually finally the roundup of all the things we have found. It's obviously been really good to be back tonight with all of you. So yeah, that is literally all we have time for episode 1 of season 2. I would like to thank my assistant Barrett, who's been so static and so politely static.
I'm just here for everyone.
He is.
Thank you so much, Alex, and thank you everybody for watching. You guys did great. If you happen to want to watch a little bit more of our content, we've got our new shorts that we released.
Yes.
So go and check them out if you haven't already. And if you want to check us out on Spotify or on YouTube, they will be in the description to the video. And also, I forgot to mention earlier on, but a special thank you to Kai and KD for helping us with this backdrop that we made. They really come together to do this. All of the Pokemon at the front here are original artwork by Kai, and he did a phenomenal
He's done an amazing job.
I mean, that is just ridiculous. And then the backdrop design was all done by KD VGC, so thank you so much to him as well.
Exactly. Yes, thank you to them both. Of course, like I mentioned at the beginning of the program tonight, I am of course not here next week because I am officially getting married legally in the eyes of the government, rather than the Lord and Savior Arceus or Mew. No, we're not going in that debate. So Barrett will have something planned for next week. Be on the lookout for that. I will be back on the following episode, which will be the 29th. Yeah, the 29th of October. Barrett, I thank you again for tonight. Shifu and Corviknight and Rillaboom and Incineroar for being in the audience tonight. You've all been great. Incineroar, please don't parting shot me. I would really appreciate it if you did not do that.
It's quite intimidating being up there.
Isn't it? It's so intimidating. But yes, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Much love to you all. Have a great week if I don't hear from you, and good night. Have a good one.
Bye.